the anchor and reduces the risk of dragging. In general, a greater scope is required in poor holding ground, heavy weather, or strong tidal streams. Too little scope and the anchor drags. Too much and the vessel swings in a wide circle, potentially fouling other anchored vessels. Scope is a seamanship judgment.
You are listening to Sailor Today Radio.
Wednesday, May 27th. The North Atlantic hurricane season begins in just days. Mariners in those waters are already watching the forecasts. In the Pacific, the typhoon season is underway. The Indian Ocean monsoon is advancing. The sea demands respect at every latitude. You give it that every single day. Enjoy the quiet before the season builds. This is Sailor Today, your link ashore while at sea.
A thought for the day. Dead weight and displacement. Every ship has a limit, a point beyond which loading more becomes dangerous. People have limits too. Knowing yours is not weakness. It is the same engineering principle applied to a human life. Load within safe limits. The voyage is long.
Your unmissable dose of vitamin C. Sailor Today, since 1991. Distributed in India, USA, UK, Hong Kong, Singapore, Dubai, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and Thailand.
It's 7:34.
Gratitude sounds like something from a self-help book, but the research behind it is genuine. People who regularly notice what is going well, even in difficult circumstances, report lower levels of anxiety and better sleep. You do not have to feel grateful. You just have to notice one thing that is working. The coffee was good. The sea is calm. The watch went smoothly. One thing. That is enough.
The readjustment after a long voyage is real, for both sides. The seafarer re-entering home life, the partner readjusting to shared space and shared decisions. Be patient with each other in this period. The friction of readjustment is not a sign of a damaged relationship. It is a sign of two people who have been living differently and are finding each other again.
Your unmissable dose of vitamin C.
Each other again.
Your unmissable dose of vitamin C.
ऑर्डर बजा बजा के बंदा क्रेजी हो जाए, छुट्टी में घर रेस्ट करे तो बीवी लेजी बतलाए, हार्ड वर्क कर कर के मोटी सैलरी घर पे लाए, दो पैग संग चिल करे तो बीवी को नहीं भाई। मेरे यारों सुनो शिप्पी की कहानी, मेरे यारों सुनो हाँ मेरी कहानी। शिप और रिलेशनशिप में फंस गई जवानी शिप और रिलेशनशिप में फंस गई जवानी फंस गई रे
पिक्चर देखने जाऊं थोड़ी शॉपिंग भी कर आऊं ऐसे
MENA, DDG, crew process, reaffirming commitment to transparent, efficient, and seafarer-centric recruitment practices. DGS operationalized Indian ship registration module on eSamudra, enabling fully paperless registration, real-time tracking, digitally signed certificates, and faster approvals, advancing ease of doing business in Indian shipping. DGS and CDAC are addressing tech issues reported after launch of new examination portal. Oral examination bookings for June 2026 are expected to commence from 25th May. Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers (GRSE) launched Sangmitra, first next-generation offshore patrol vessel for Indian Navy. Vessel was launched by Samatti Sarita Vatsayan in presence of Vice Admiral Sanjay Vatsayan, PVSM, AVSM, NM, Vice Chief of Naval Staff, while CMDE PR Hari, retired, Chairman and Managing Director, GRSE, highlighted continued momentum in indigenous naval shipbuilding. Adani Logistics, with Hi-Fun Foods and Evergreen Marine Corporation, launched a dedicated reefer rail corridor linking ICD Virochan Nagar with Mundra Port, strengthening cold chain exports, multimodal connectivity, sustainability, and global market access. Addressing 19th Rozgar Mela, Shri Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India, identified shipping, ports, shipbuilding, logistics, and maritime infrastructure as major future employment generators under Viksit Bharat 2047, supported by large-scale investments in maritime ecosystem development. Under Jal Jeevan Mission 2.0, Centre signed reform-linked MOUs with Andaman and Nicobar Islands and West Bengal in presence of Shri C.R. Patil, Union Minister for Jal Shakti. Admiral D.K. Joshi, Lieutenant Governor, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and Dr. Chandra Bhushan Kumar, Chief Secretary, participated as focus shifted towards community-led, sustainable rural water governance. DRDO successfully completed development trials of ULPGM V3 in air-to-ground and air-to-air modes. Program involved Research Center Imarat, DRDL, TBRL, HEMRL, Bharat Dynamics Limited, Adani Defence Systems and Technologies Limited, and New Space Research and Technologies. Shri Rajnath Singh, Raksha Mantri, termed achievement a major milestone towards Atmanirbhar Bharat, while Dr. Sameer V. Kamath, Secretary Defence R&D and Chairman DRDO, congratulated participating teams. Shri Piyush Goyal, Union Minister of Commerce and Industry, announced India's target of $1 trillion exports this year and $2 trillion within 5 years, highlighting FTAs, MSME growth, manufacturing expansion, agriculture, fisheries, digital payments, and export competitiveness. He linked ambition directly with vision of Viksit Bharat 2047. Bhandarkar Shipping News, your trusted anchor in an evolving world.
These news headlines are brought to you by Sailor Today, in collaboration with Bhandarkar Shipping News, your anchor in the sea of knowledge, keeping you steady and informed.
You are listening to Sailor Today International Maritime Radio. Coming up next, Wellerman Epic Shanty, contributed by Ebony. That was Wellerman Epic Shanty by a Bunny on Sailor Today International Maritime Radio. Your link ashore while at sea.
To those who sail the seas, who navigate the globe with discipline, ambition, and courage.
Here's a brand that speaks your language. Karma Developers.
Founded by seafarer, entrepreneur, and visionary Captain Pradeep Singh, an industry icon with a legacy anchored in leadership and integrity. Karma Developers understands the journey because they have sailed it too.
With over a decade of experience and 25 plus prestigious projects across the UAE, UK, Cyprus, Karma Developers creates homes in Dubai that feel like safe harbors for mariners and global citizens. Flexible payment plans like just 10% on booking and 1% monthly make it even easier to come ashore.
Whether you are looking to invest, settle, or return to shore in style, discover affordable luxury built with precision, passion, and global expertise in the most dynamic cities of the world, Dubai.
From the iconic beach house at Palm Jumeirah to vibrant communities and high-yield commercial space.
Morning to every seafarer out there, whether you're on watch, in port, or somewhere in between. You're listening to DGS Weekly on Sailor Today International Maritime Radio. I'm Captain Manku, and with me today, as always, is Sonia. How are you doing this week?
Good morning, Captain Manku. I'm doing really well, actually. Especially because the story we're covering today is one I've been wanting to talk about for a while. It feels important.
It does feel important, Sonia. And I'll tell you why. Because it isn't just a government circular. It isn't just paperwork moving through an office. What we're talking about today is a formal, structured, named commitment from India's Directorate General of Shipping to the women who are in this industry, and the women who should be.
So let's start from the beginning, Captain Manku. What exactly has been issued, and what does it actually say?
Right. So on the 4th of May, 2026, the Directorate General of Shipping in Mumbai, the DGS, issued DGS Order number 06 of 2026. Now, this order is described as an addendum. That's an important word. It builds on an earlier order, DGS Order number 18 of 2024, which was dated the 25th of November 2024. So, what you have here is phase 2 of something that was already set in motion. The original order established the framework. This new order strengthens it. And it was signed by Shyam Jagannathan, who is the Director General of Shipping.
So this isn't a brand new initiative. It's a continuation. They laid the groundwork in 2024, and now they're building the structure on top of it.
Exactly right. And that distinction matters enormously in how we read this. Because one of the criticisms that sometimes gets leveled at institutional gender initiatives, not just in maritime but anywhere, is that they're announced with fanfare and then quietly forgotten. What Order Number 06 of 2026 does is demonstrate continuity. There's a named program, Sagar Mein Saman, which translates beautifully as honor on the ocean or respect at sea. And now it has a phase 2 with real appointments and real committees attached to it.
Captain Manku, tell me about those appointments. Who has been named to lead this?
So the order appoints 2 joint chairpersons to head what is called the Task Force for Women in Maritime. The 2 women named are Dr. Kusum Kanwar and Ms. Ambika Singh. Joint chairpersons. Not 1, 2. I think that's deliberate. It signals shared leadership, and it ensures that no single point of failure exists at the top.
That's actually quite a thoughtful structural choice, Captain Manku. 2 voices at the helm rather than 1.
It is. And when you look at what sits beneath them, the subcommittees, you start to understand the scale of thinking here. Because 4 distinct subcommittees have been constituted under this order, and each one has a very specific job to do. The first is the Training Modules Development Committee. The second is the Capacity Building, Sensitization and Outreach Committee. The third is the Monitoring, Evaluation and Review Committee. And the fourth is the Institutional Framework and Governance Committee.
Captain Manku, when I hear those 4 names together, I notice something. They seem to cover the full life cycle of the problem. You've got the content side with training, the people side with outreach, the accountability side with monitoring, and then the systemic side with governance. Is that a fair reading?
That is not just a fair reading, that is precisely the right reading. And I'm glad you caught it. Because this is what distinguishes a serious institutional response from a symbolic one. A symbolic response says, "We support women in maritime," and puts a banner up. A serious institutional response says, "Right, where are the gaps in training? Who is doing the outreach and how do we measure it? How do we hold ourselves accountable? And what needs to change at the level of policy and governance so that none of this collapses when the enthusiasm fades?" Those 4 committees answer those 4 questions.
And the fact that it's phase 2, that word addendum, it means the DGS is treating this as ongoing work, not a one-time gesture.
Precisely. The sea doesn't change in a single tide. And culture, institutional culture, doesn't change in a single order. What the DGS is doing here is creating a structure that can sustain its own momentum. Leadership is named. Responsibilities are distributed. The work is compartmentalized so it can proceed in parallel across different tracks simultaneously. Training doesn't have to wait for governance. Outreach doesn't have to wait for monitoring. Everything can move at once.
Captain Manku, I want to ask something that I think a lot of listeners, especially the younger seafarers, might be wondering. Sagar Mein Saman, it's a powerful name. What does it actually mean for a woman who is working in or trying to enter the Indian maritime industry? What's the real-world impact supposed to look like?
That's the most important question in the room, Sonia. And I appreciate you asking it directly. Because all the committee names and order numbers in the world don't mean anything if someone standing on a dock or sitting in a maritime academy or crewing a vessel doesn't feel the difference. The intent of Sagar Mein Saman and what these 4 committees are structured to deliver is that women should be able to enter maritime training, progress through maritime careers, and reach positions of seniority without facing systemic barriers that men simply don't face. The Training Modules Committee means that the content of how seafarers are educated should reflect the reality that women are seafarers too. The Outreach Committee means that girls and young women who might not even consider this industry should be reached, in schools, in communities, in places where maritime doesn't yet feel like an option. The Monitoring Committee means someone is watching, measuring, checking whether any of this is working. And the governance committee means that if the system itself needs to change to make room, procedurally, institutionally, there is a body tasked with identifying and recommending those changes.
When you put it that way, Captain Manku, it really does feel like someone sat down and thought, what would it take to actually do this properly, not just to announce it?
And that's what gives me genuine hope about this order. It's signed, it's dated, it's numbered. It's an addendum to a prior commitment. Dr. Kusum Kanwar and Ms. Ambika Singh have been named. Their names are in a government order. That means accountability. That means when someone asks 6 months or a year from now, what did the Task Force for Women in Maritime actually accomplish? There are named individuals, named committees, and a program with a name and a phase number that can be measured against.
Captain Manku, I want to pick up on one thing. The Monitoring, Evaluation and Review Committee specifically. In your experience, is monitoring actually the piece that tends to get neglected? Because it feels like it might be the one that decides whether everything else works.
You have put your finger on something I have watched play out over a very long career, Sonia. Monitoring is the unglamorous sibling of all the exciting work. Nobody claps when you publish an evaluation report. Nobody gets a photograph taken when you review a metric. But without it, without someone rigorously asking, is this working, and if not, why not? The most beautifully designed initiative drifts. It loses coherence. Good intentions become legacy documents. What the DGS has done by making monitoring, evaluation and review a standalone committee, not a footnote to another committee's terms of reference, but its own body with its own mandate, is to say, accountability is not optional. Progress will be measured.
That's a really significant thing to build into the architecture from the
That is your DG Shipping Weekly for this week. This is Captain Manku.
And Cadet Sonia. Safe sailing to all, wherever you are in the world.
This is Sailor Today International Maritime Radio. Your link ashore while at sea.
Wednesday, May 27th. The North Atlantic hurricane season begins in just days. Mariners in those waters are already watching the forecasts. In the Pacific, the typhoon season is underway. The Indian Ocean monsoon is advancing. The sea demands respect at every latitude. You give it that every single day. Enjoy the quiet before the season builds. This is Sailor Today, your link ashore while at sea.
Your unmissable dose of vitamin C.
The Sailor Today Shipping Bulletin.
Long Beach is feeling the squeeze. According to G Captain, the port of Long Beach recorded another year-over-year drop in cargo volumes in April. With global market volatility, rising fuel costs, and supply chain uncertainty all piling on at once. The Hormuz crisis isn't just a headline out there. It's showing up in the numbers, at the docks, in your working world. And speaking of the Hormuz effect, Splash 247 reports that coal is being reborn as an energy security asset. At last month's Geneva Dry Conference, ship owners, analysts and operators made the case that the escalating Hormuz crisis has fundamentally shifted the outlook for seaborne coal, and with it, dry bulk demand. The obituary, it seems, was premature. On the shipbuilding front, G Captain reports that General Dynamics NASSCO has secured $856 million to build TAO-217, the latest in the U.S. Navy's John Lewis-class Fleet Replenishment Oiler program. That's serious steel and serious money. A leadership change is prompting a new identity at sea. Splash 247 reports that Norwegian LNG owner Awilco LNG is looking to rebrand following the departure of long-serving chief executive John School Storheil. The Oslo-listed company says it's preparing to enter its next chapter under new leadership. The Baltic Dry Index slipped again. Hellenic Shipping reports the index fell roughly 1.4% on Friday to 3151 points. Capesize vessels led the retreat, dropping 2.3% to 5316. On the economic side, Hellenic Shipping reports that Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland President Beth Hammack has spoken out firmly in favor of central bank independence. She told a conference Thursday that independence is essential to meeting the Fed's goals of maximum employment and price stability. And for those of you managing your certificates and keeping your paperwork straight, Ship Technology has published a guide to understanding STCW regulations and how they impact crew certification. Worth a look next time you're tied up and have a quiet hour. Finally, Ship Technology is also covering advances in deep water lifting systems, specifically how the industry is moving beyond the dangers of snapback. If you work in offshore operations, that one's for you. That is your shipping bulletin.
MSC Cruises is hiring at Chennai, Bangalore, Kochi and Goa. Become part of our team by registering online on social media, Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn at MSC Crewing Services India Cruises.
Sailor Today, since 1991. Distributed in India, USA, UK, Hong Kong, Singapore, Dubai, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and Thailand.
It's 8:01.
You are listening to Sailor Today International Maritime Radio. Coming up next, The Captain Hour, Sanjay Chopra Show, Episode 66. Stay with us.
Hello friends and listeners. Welcome back to the Captain Sanjay Chopra Show, where I resume my story where I stopped in the last episode. Finally, the day arrived for my departure to join the vessel in Bilbao. A couple of days earlier, we had moved to my maternal aunt Suksham Auntie's home in Chembur, so we could spend a little more time together before I sailed off. It was the 4th of Jan 1988 when Vanita with heavy heart came to see me off at Bombay Airport. After spending a few days with my aunt and uncle and cousins, she would also board a flight back to Delhi to stay with my parents. As my aircraft lifted off from Bombay, an overwhelming emptiness settled inside me. For the first time, the reality truly sank in. I would not see the woman I loved for a long while. Yet, deep down, we both knew this moment was inevitable. Such was the life we had chosen, the life of a merchant naval officer and the sacrifices that came with it. I relieved the outgoing second officer after reasonable time for handover and familiarizing with the ship. What demanded even greater attention, however, was our upcoming voyage to Porto Trombetas through the Amazon basin. It was considered a challenging port of call, and none of the navigating officers on board, including the master, had previously sailed there. I immersed myself in studying the approaches, the river navigation, tide patterns, and every detail I could gather about the passage. Our departure from the Bay of Biscay lived up to its notorious reputation. The weather was unforgiving. Sailing in ballast condition, the ship was extremely light and she rolled and pitched violently through the winter seas. The Bay of Biscay, especially during winter, could be merciless, and this voyage was no exception. Thankfully, after a little over a day, the weather eased and the vessel finally settled into a steadier rhythm as we shaped our course towards the Amazon and the distant northwestern coast of Brazil. The initial days on board were intensely busy as I settled into my responsibilities, but whenever I found a little quiet time, I resumed my daily ritual of writing letters to Vanita. She was constantly on my mind, and I missed her deeply. The company required a minimum 3-month-long waiting period before spouses could officially join officers on board. But the thought of waiting that long felt unbearable. I was determined somehow to persuade both the master and the company to allow her to join earlier when the vessel returned to Europe the next month. To keep myself occupied, I buried myself in work, often for about 14 hours a day. Beyond my own duties, I eagerly learned the chief officer's responsibilities as well, studying loadicator operations, stability calculations, stress factors, and every aspect involved in the loading and operating of a bulk carrier safely. Yet, despite the long hours and constant activity, the loneliness returned whenever I was alone in my cabin. In those quiet moments, I missed Vanita even more and longed for the day she would finally join me on board. At such times, one song seemed to echo my feelings perfectly. "Wo jab yaad aaye, bahut yaad aaye," from the film Parasmani, originally sung by Mohammed Rafi and Lata Mangeshkar, with lyrics by Asad Bhopali and music composed by Lakshmikant Pyarelal. The song captured closely our emotions that time. Here it is in my voice. Hope you all like it. वो जब याद आए, बहुत याद आए, वो जब याद आए, बहुत याद आए, गमे जिंदगी के अंधेरे में हमने चिरागे मुहब्बत जलाए बुझाए, वो जब याद आए, बहुत याद आए। रास्ते हंस दिए, हम कर दिल उठे हम किसी के लिए। कई बार ऐसा भी धोखा हुआ है, चले आ रहे हैं वो नजरें झुकाए, वो जब याद आए, बहुत याद आए, वो जब याद आए, बहुत याद आए, वो जब याद आए, बहुत याद आए, गमे जिंदगी के अंधेरे में हमने चिरागे मुहब्बत जलाए बुझाए, वो जब याद